So I want you to explain to a lot of people, and this is quite important, what is the advantage of using DITRA? And I think they need to know that.
Yeah, I mean, what some of the main advantages, if you like, is the stress that it can put on a tile covering due to changes in floor temperatures. So the warming up and cooling down of the substrate obviously has an effect on how the tiles are bonded to the substrate, especially during the first sort of 2 to 3 months because of shrinkage and drying out. It can affect with curling, and if the tile is bonded directly to it, then it's likely to behave in the same way.
Yeah, because I tend to call it, this is my saying, I call it thermal shock. Literally, if you go and you get a light or anything and you move like that, so it's just the same thing. You warm the floor up, and if it too much is not cured properly, the adhesive, and you just max it, it's gonna go like that. Yeah. Obviously, it's gonna crack.
Yeah.
So that's why I always say it's so important to use something that's gonna actually just slow down, even if they go in and turn it on without it commissioning right. That will at least uncoupled membrane, it'll at least help it not to get that too much of a thermal shock.
And the other thing to bear in mind as well, sometimes people are cautious, if you like, about using a product like this over the top of underfloor heating because they think it might affect the heat performance. But it doesn't, because that one of the functions of the fleece is it stops the adhesive going into the channels, and they therefore remain open. So what it can actually help is help with even heat distribution.
Yeah.
So heat can still pass through it or travel through the cavities, and it'll actually help with potential cold spots within a floor.
Yeah.
It won't prevent any of the heat coming through, but like you say, the main key thing regarding why you'd use one is to neutralise the shear stress to prevent the tiles from cracking if they are bonded directly to the substrate below.
Yeah. And one thing, Tom, let me know after maybe 20 years or say 18 years of using it, one of the biggest advantages is using it, guys. I didn't know this, on near enough wet screed, right?
Yeah, I mean, it's a big, something I like to highlight to a lot of guys, especially because we know that time is very important on site. More often than not, projects can get behind. We're always waiting for a screed to fully cure before we tile upon it. But we have a product within DITRA 25 which actually allow us to get onto a green screed or wet screed, however you want to look at it. There's certain things that need to be considered, but there's certainly an opportunity where DITRA can be used much sooner than allowing the screed to fully dry.
As a rule of thumb, what we generally say is as soon as you can walk on it without leaving a visible footprint, and we're talking about cementitious screeds obviously, as soon as you can walk on it without leaving a visible footprint, effectively you can put DITRA on it and tile on it straight away. Like Thomas said, there are some variables to consider, so depth of screed. So if we're talking about something that's fairly standard, maybe 40mm for a bonded screed, then that might be anything down to 48 or 72 hours. But if it's something thicker, perhaps a floating screed on top of insulation, that's obviously going to be sort of 65 or 70mm thick. That might need to leave to wait for maybe a week or 2 weeks. But that's a lot different obviously compared to 4 to 6 weeks. So the air channels remain open, as I said, and it allows the screed to continue to breathe. What it actually does, and again some people aren't aware of this, is it actually slows the drying process down, and it prevents the screed from curling and helps to prevent with some of the problems associated with shrinkage, etc.
When it shrinks, that's when it goes to the weakest point, then it just cracks.
When we see curling, cracking, so as Andrew said, it actually slows the process down, so it allows the moisture to evaporate through the screed, through the air channels, at a much even level, so it actually reduces that coming out.
And I know you work quite a lot with natural stone as well, Ken, so just one thing to bear in mind, if you're using DITRA onto a green screed and you're looking to sort of accelerate that installation process, probably important to sort of tape and seal the joints if you're using a moisture sensitive stone. Otherwise you could get staining at the mat joints, so just bear that in mind.
And it is important, as Andrew mentioned, this is based for a standard cement screed and not for an anhydrite screed or gypsum screeds. So obviously that's going to be different, but standard cement, as you said, we can get on there much sooner.
Okay, that's quite important to know, and it's one of the things I started to push a lot now. So I've been doing a few just because it's a peace of mind now. You know, it's a peace of mind knowing.
And you can do that with both of those two systems as well.